What's up, Kings? Hope you're well. And in this video, I want to talk about why you should consider targeting your advertising abroad to Americans that live abroad. Before I get into that video, let me explain the setting. I'm sitting in the aftermath of a dinner party last night. Yep, we had a dinner party last night. It was amazing. It was great. We expected maybe 10 people, but 100 people showed up. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know why. I guess people here like to have a good time, and people have a lot of time on their hands. That's what I'm learning. It's December 9 today, which means that it's a national holiday as well, where I'm at, where I reside. It's winter where you are now. That's why I'm escaping Atlanta right now. I don't want to be anywhere where the winter is right now, because I know it's cold, it's bitter cold. I love the sun. I'm sure you do too. So we had a dinner party last night. We had a couple of people show up, including an American couple, a young couple too. As soon as they got here, they're like, man, I want to live this kind of life too. So I asked them, hey, what's stopping you from living this life? There are many other people that are living this life already. They didn't have an excuse. That young couple sees people like me, and there are thousands of us out here, by the way. Literally thousands, hundreds of thousands, I'm sure, of young American men that are leaving the cities that they're in because the cost of living is just outright crazy. They can't survive in a city like Atlanta on a $50K a year job. Just look at the price of groceries, price of everything. It's insane. Go to TikTok, you'll see people complaining about it. So a logical man, a logical minded person would say, well, things are not working here. Naturally, as human beings, we're nomadic, including myself. I've lived in 4 different cities in the last 20 years, from San Diego, Los Angeles, New York City, where I learned a lot of my advertising skills. And then Atlanta is now my favorite city to be based out of. In addition to that, I can escape and come here during the wintertime, and I'm not a millionaire. And the people that follow me on my social know that I'm not a millionaire. In fact, the couple that came here, they know I'm not a millionaire. But my quality of life is like a millionaire out here. Even though I make as much as a media director in a fancy agency in Atlanta or New York. And all these people that follow me, they see all these things. And then they DM me or they ask me all kinds of questions to say, hey man, how did you pull this off? How did you pull this off? And people like me are giving out all the game. We're giving out all the game. It's not just me, by the way. Even what I'm doing now was inspired by another generation of digital nomads. About 10 years ago, about 8 years ago, I'd say, I started tracking this group of guys that will go to Chiang Mai, Thailand, that will call themselves digital nomads. And what they'll do is they'll do drop shipping, selling products using Shopify. So I used to follow their journeys and track how they were. I even dabbled with Shopify store before. I'm actually working with a bunch of brands right now that selling through Shopify. So that's exciting because I have at least some context on what works and what doesn't. So I'm able to deliver as much value to these guys. So as I said, a decade ago, I started to acquire information about how to do what these guys were doing that were hanging out in Chiang Mai. I remember there was this guy called John AFD. He had an article in Business Insider. If I can find it, I'll post it up. And I remember reading that article. I'm like, man, this guy is having meals for $1? Think about it, this was a decade ago. And hearing that somebody can get a whole meal for like $1, that was shocking to me. Imagine how shocking it is for like a 25-year-old hearing that he can get a meal for $1 in Thailand, maybe $2. Meanwhile, he's spending $20 at Chipotle with no drink. Logical-minded person would say it's an obvious decision. When people are presented with options, they always choose the better option. The point I'm trying to make is this. Advertisers that are running programmatic ads right now need to pay attention to this movement, or else you're going to be left behind. The advantage that you'll get from targeting your brand awareness campaigns to these Americans that are living abroad is that targeting to them is going to be super cheap. An impression to target an American who lives in Thailand or lives in the Philippines, it's going to be a fraction of the cost if you were to target them when they're in New York City. Meanwhile, they have a lot of disposable income. The ones that are in the Philippines and the ones in Thailand have a lot of disposable income. If I was to throw a party like this in Atlanta, it would have broken the bank. This is probably equivalent to a $10,000 party, but I paid a fraction of that just to host, like, we fed 100 people here. We had a band, a military band. Yo, it's amazing. When all these people that follow me see stuff like this, it's an obvious that they're gonna ask me questions. Like the young couple that we hosted for the dinner party last night, they were like, wow, we would love to live a simple life like this as well, that is not too stressful. And I asked them, what is stopping you from doing it next week? They didn't have an answer. But that means already they're thinking about it. And that's a potential audience member that you can target once they've left the US. Ultimately, a lot of these guys that are based in the Philippines, right now I'm in East Africa, there are a lot of Americans here too. A lot of these Americans, they still have a lot of American pride. There's so many proud Americans out here that live in East Africa. There's so many proud Americans that live in the Philippines. There's so many proud Americans that live in Thailand that are just hoping things will get better where they're coming from and they're able to go back. Why not take advantage of that opportunity? Targeting to them is super cheap, and you can build so much brand awareness with these guys so that even when they do come back home on holidays and vacations, they're going to come back home with a lot of cash because they have a lot of disposable income, because the cost of living where they are now is so low that if they're making USD, they're going to have so much money in the bank that when they come on vacation back home to visit their family or their friends, they're going to remember that your brand made an impression on them when they lived in Zanzibar. They're going to remember your brand made an impression on them when they were living in Bangkok. They're going to remember that your brand made an impression on them when they lived in Manila, Philippines. This is something that I want to encourage a lot of advertisers to consider seriously. Even though you think your situation is unique to you, how you're running your campaigns, I promise you, the way you're running your campaigns is not unique at all. It's not. There are hundreds of other agencies that are running similar campaigns to how you're running them. So what's going to make you different as an advertiser? What's going to make you stand out in a world where people's attention is currency? A lot of these guys that are leaving the US, they're starting family. So they're going to pass on this brand loyalty down to their kids. So for example, for me, right, if I come across a brand that I really like, a brand that I like right now is Daily Wire. I'd rather sign up for a service like Daily Wire over like a Netflix, because Daily Wire's values are aligned with my family values. And that information is going to filter down to my wife, and my wife is going to make the ultimate decision to sign up for Daily Wire. And Daily Wire's got kids programming now. Even though they're not running ads targeting to me out here in East Africa, but imagine if they're running ads targeting me here in East Africa. Oh my goodness, like there are thousands of other guys just like me that will sign up for the service over Netflix. That's the competitive edge. Advertisers need to know that it's more important than ever now to have that competitive edge. You need to look for these blind spots that people are not focusing on and take advantage of that so you can win. So I hope you got some value from this video. And if you're interested in running better programmatic campaigns, maybe you're running some search campaigns right now, everything is good there, but you need to build your brand awareness. Let's talk about it. I can show you a perfect strategy where you can use your search ads that are working wonderfully, I'm sure, and make sure those search ads convert twice or 3 times because of programmatic campaigns. If you're running search ads in the city of Atlanta, I'm just using Atlanta because it's my favorite city. If you're running search ads for an HVAC company or in a service business, your competitors are running the same search ads as well. They're running the same keyword phrases. You guys are just buying the same keyword phrases. You're competing. But how do you get the competitive edge over your competitor? You run programmatic ads in the same area so that when they're searching for the services that you have to offer on Google, they'll remember your brand over the competition. Schedule time. Let's talk about how to double or triple your campaign conversions. A link to my calendar in the description of this video. Let's get this money together.